the trampoline is a very valuable training aid for the teaching of gymnastics. As well as all the normal things you see bouncing and somersaulting on a trampoline, there's a whole host of progressions which I'd like to show you now that can be adopted on a trampoline. It goes without saying that anything that increases the height of a somersault or a gymnast moving in the air increases the risk, and it's vital that the coach is experienced enough and that the setup is safe enough before you proceed on this apparatus. So whilst being very valuable, it is potentially very dangerous. Please respect it and please make sure that you've got the necessary qualifications to go further. Kaylee, if you'd just like to stand on the trampoline, a few little exercise for juniors. First thing I'd like you to do is with your hands by your side, just jump and point your toes, 10 bounces. Just an idea about core stability, maintaining a good shape and pointing your toes to get height. And if you stop, next one, Tori's going to do the same exercise, but she's not going to point her toes, she's going to keep her feet flat and only use her arms. No, don't point your toes, keep your feet flat-footed, so they point up to the ceiling, Tori. Help with the arms, lift your arms, that's better. So no feet allowed, but arms working. Gives an understanding of how important the arms are, how effective they can be in increasing your height. Good, and stop. And the next gymnast, put both together, bounce with your arms and pointing your toes a few times in the middle. And I think high bouncing is quite useful to maintain that body position. Trampolinists all have a very good core stability to be able to maintain a correct shape when they're in the air, quite necessary in gymnastics. And stop, good. Cameron, if you can show me please from standing at one end, backflip, and then a bounce in between and a fly spring. So backflips and fly springs would have been covered on other apparatus, but because this surface is much more forgiving, a few times Cameron, because this surface is softer you can do far more repetitions and you can check the state of the somersault or the flick and the fly spring, maintaining the distance over and over again. When you can do the two separately, it's possible to put them together, as the next gymnast will show. Luke, backflip and fly spring in combination. And each one should look the same. The distance should be maintained. It's a good orientation exercise. Lots of repetitions without damaging the wrist. Thank you. And Lewis, if you can add to that now, I'd like you to try backflip, fly spring, and after a few, go to a handstand and bounce a little bit in handstand, and just play. So backflip, fly spring, to actually stop in handstand, and from the backflip, stop in handstand as well is good. Good. Jumping back to this position and stopping in handstand. There is quite useful for vault when you're performing Sukaharas, Yuchenkos. Being able to fix that position and block is essential. Kaylee, can you try for me backflip to handstand bounce, and when you can do it, backflip to handstand and then snap to land on your back. Good, and again. Good. Backflip, snap to your back. Good. Can you do it in one go? Backflip and go straight away. So for vaulting, the direction of the snap is very different to the direction for a flick, for example. A flick would go down, the direction for the Yurchenko would be to snap up. And we can encourage that open shoulder position there to snap to land on the back on the trampoline. Next gymnast. Well done. And Cameron, can you try to do the same? Fix your position, and if you can, try to make half turns. Up. Good, carry on, carry on, carry on. Keep it going. Good, okay. And Luke, if you can add to backflip and fly spring, make some turns. So you do backflip with turn, half turn, full turn, make some combinations. Off you go. Same for you, Lewis. Good. Good, good. It's a useful piece of apparatus to just play, to feel positions, to try to see what you can do. Good. Yes. turn in the back flip one at the first half. Turn now. Yes, good. Well done. Good.
Into what?
Just back somersault. Good. So this action of hitting the trampoline with your back first and then your feet, known as a kaboom, and it's very useful in gymnastics because it can help to initiate blind turns, Diamondov, Stutz turns, and somersaults, and preparation for some release and catches. If you lay on your back, Lewis. So Lewis will aim to land on the trampoline with his back first, and then very quickly afterwards hit his feet down, which will cause a reaction to make a somersault. So it's kaboom and then back somersault. And initially the first step can be from standing, just jump to land back feet, and I'm going to stop your legs just to check the position. Good. Again. So when the gymnast has a feeling for that rotation, it does take a little while to do, it's quite possible to make a somersault. From there, tuck your legs and somersault. And that can move to a number of different things. It could actually be a kaboom to open the body out into a handstand, rather like a flying back somersault on the parallel bars. Yes, you could also perform the same element, kaboom, but in a dish position in preparation for a release and catch on bar. Kaboom, dish back somersault. Yes, and if Lewis can make that with a half turn to feet, we start to get a ginga. Good, one more time. More powerful action. Yes, and that's just an awareness for the correct shape to be in the air when you're turning to make a back somersault with half twist to catch the bar. You could also perform just by playing kaboom action and then a half turn on the way up to finish in handstand. This one has good relevance for swinging half turns on bar. And one more time. Encourages the gymnast to lead with the feet rather than the head and to find a good handstand position. And even with a full turn to make a Diamondov type action. Using the same principle for backflip and fly spring on the trampoline, we can also talk about straight front and whip back. So the gymnast can start at one end of the trampoline, make a straight front, the same shape that you'd see on the floor, one bounce, and then a whip back. Try to make the distance exactly the same and the somersaults look the same. Off you go. And good, next one. Lean back, and again, up and forwards. Longer, longer, chin up. Next one. You'll see that there are mistakes made, but with this apparatus you can spend lots of time, lots of goes, safely correcting the somersaults until you get to a point where everything looks the same. Let's see with Luke. After a few weeks of training, it's possible to form whip backs and straight fronts consecutively, the same as backflip and fly spring. Good. Lewis. Stop. Good.